It's summer in Florida, so of course I'm wearing a practically fur coat to stay warm because that's how it works in Florida. The warmer it is outside, the cooler every building is inside. So I am wearing all the warm things so that I can go outside and be cool and relaxed, but when I'm inside, I have to be warm. So, hi, we are going to talk today about you, your life, how it's rolling along right now. And you might be looking around at everything that's going on, everything you've achieved, and you might be saying, is this all there is? Is this it? All the things I planned, all the things I thought I should achieve, I'm doing it. Yay! The house, the career, the family, the things, the barbecues, the Sunday outings. Yay! Is this all there is? Is that it? Is there anything else I'm supposed to be doing? Is there anything that is unique to me that I should be driving towards to be sure that I get that thing done or created here on earth before I die? Is there any mark unique to me that will be left here on earth? Is there something that I should play with and give it a little respect, even though it sounds unusual and weird, just to see if it's possible? Is there something quirky about me that I am not really respecting because it doesn't fit into one of the existing boxes? Is this all your life is going to be? Is there any itch or craving in the back of your head that you're kind of ignoring and you don't even respect it enough to sit down and say, is this a real thing? Is this something that could be a huge and important expression of me that I kind of treat as an old hobby, an old craving, a side hustle, an ignored hobby, an ignored project, an ignored idea? Do you have something like that? Do you have moments where you say, well, I have succeeded at doing all the things. I have pleased employers in an organization. I have achieved certain things. I am rolling along. But I thought there was going to be something really big, a mountain to climb, something really creative, something that I would do that sounds a little crazy and that I wouldn't know the outcome. Not like getting a master's degree or getting the next job promotion, something where the outcome is unpaved and unrecognizable and unknowable, but it would be kind of like setting off little sparks to see what sticks, to see what works, and to see what might bounce back at me that I don't even know that I don't know. Do you ever have that feeling? How do you get in touch with it? How do you start to respect that thing? How do you know if it is dumb and crazy to try to change everything you've got running just to try this one other experiment in life? And one of the things I've looked at is the number of minutes that we have left. And I can kind of predict the number of minutes I have left on Earth. But I also have seen in other people's lives, in global health concerns, in trends of danger, in anything that I look at around in the news in the world, I might only have 1 minute left. I can't bank on the fact that I've got a fictional 40 years left. I can't, or 50 years, whatever we want to predict. And I also can't lean on that imagination that, oh yeah, someday an imaginary version of me is going to do that higher risk thing. An imaginary version of me is going to do that out there thing. I have the opportunity right here, right now to say, whoa, stop all the trains that are in motion. I want to make a big change and it's going to disrupt everything that's already going on. But I want to do something that is different, that is bespoke, that is an expression of me in a different way. If you're great at expressing yourself through your job as an attorney or through your job as a marketing expert or through your job as a teacher, if you are doing your best work there, but you feel like there is something else you want to build or try or create, and you just want to give it a chance. You want to know, maybe you have a craving of like, I really want to work with other cultures. I'm so good at what I do, but I do it with people who are in my same town, in my same country, of my same culture. Maybe there's something you want to dig in and experience. And you keep thinking, I kind of look at these books and I think I will do that someday. Maybe you want to create a wine vineyard, and you just read books about people who do that, and maybe you don't give it enough credence that you would actually change your budget, change your patterns, change your the people who change the assumptions in terms of your commitments to other people, communities, organizations. But what if you said, I'm going to play with the idea of that type of big life change because I want to see how that feels to have my ideas expressed on the outside of my brain and have me doing something that is uncomfortable because I'd be a newbie at trying that type of thing. I would be awkward. I would be learning. I would be down here instead of up here where I am elsewhere in my life. But if you sit there a few times a week or a month and say, is this all there is? Like, I now feel like every time I go back to the dentist every 6 months, I actually get cleanings every 3 months. So I go 4 times a year. Kind of crazy about that. As a matter of fact, what's funny is I drink coffee before I do these videos. And even though nobody around can smell my coffee breath, I have a thing about before I do these videos, I have to go brush my teeth, even though nobody knows. But anyhow, I digress. So when you go back to something periodically, you go back to your annual doctor's appointment, you go back to your dentist every 6 months, do you have a moment and go, I can't believe it's been another year. I can't believe it's been another year. And your dentist says, so how's your job? Oh, good. I got a promotion. Yeah, we had a little trouble last year, so we had to do this big project. And it was a huge project and I worked really late. It was crazy. Last year was crazy. And then are you kind of saying like, but that project got done. But if I deleted myself from LinkedIn or wherever your presence is, you say, was that me? All of the historical posts about that work project, was that it? Then I retire and die, and the other things that I'm doing in my life that you're doing very well and in a dedicated way and giving your best work. Do you have moments and say, is this it? Is there something outside of my comfort zone, a little bit crazy that I should be trying? And how would I even get that started? Which is what we do here on kindedge.com, is we get it in motion with practical, doable steps, not inspiration, not woo-woo. It's here's the thing you do now. Here's the thing you do next. Here's how you hook that to the next step. Here's how you create time tethers. And here's how you test to see what will work and push forward on what works and throw away what doesn't work. So if you're feeling that feeling of, is this it? Like, I've been working so hard. I just continue working. I continue doing all these things. Do I get to choose another flavor? Do I get another flavor of life? Do I get another bohemian style life? If I'm living bohemian, do I get another high-end, showy, whatever, corporate life? Whatever is the contrast to what you're doing, something you haven't done that you haven't tried, something that looks interesting to you, something that would be an expression of you. So if you ask yourself, is this all there is? Is it correct? It is correct and approved for you to continue doing what you're doing because your employer likes you continuing to do what you're doing. The others who depend on you like you to continue doing what you're doing. And if it is bringing you joy and it's the best expression of you, and man, if you died tomorrow, you'd be like, I squeezed the sponge of life hard and I squeezed out the last drops and I just totally expressed myself. If you're living that dream right now and the trains just can stay on the same track and keep going, well done. Good for you. You know everything you needed to know when you were a baby and you did it all correct beginning to end. But if you have something else that you feel like you need to get out, you have the opportunity because you have one golden ticket here on earth. Like my boo-boo. I like colorful Band-Aids. I don't wear the neutral Band-Aids. I like Band-Aids with cartoons. I buy children's Band-Aids and that kind of thing because it just makes me feel happy and fun and silly. So ask yourself, when I was 7 years old, what were the things that I was obsessed with? What were the things that I could do for hours and hours to no end? What were the things that I imagined myself doing, that I kind of role played in my head or did naturally sought out those types of projects or activities, and just spend an hour, a good hour, with a blank sheet of paper, walk through a store that's related to that thing. If you are obsessed about doing certain types of building crafts, go into a Home Depot, go to a craft store, go to a music store, go to anything that would just kind of let you get tactile, hands-on, and be around people who do those types of things. If you start to get that craving of like, yeah, I really did want to build an actual running go-kart. I kind of wanted to play with this engineering idea, even though now I'm a lawyer. I actually want to do this thing, or I actually want to build something that I could race and compete and do, run in a competition. Again, you post in the comments what it is that feeds you, but all of these things are very unique and different. But there's something, or you want to start a charity and you say, I keep thinking of doing this, but I don't know how to make that first phone call, or gather the people, or ask the questions, or make the connections. Just sit and say, what is that thing? Let me play with the idea. Let me give it some credence. Because what we do is, when we have so many trains that have left the station and we're so responsible and we're so normal, we start to think normal is the only option, when in fact you have every ability to take something that you only treat as a side hustle, or an old hobby box in your garage, or an old set of notes, all that stuff, or something. Here's a trigger that you will see it. If you really want to find what you really kind of want, is when you see people, other people commenting on this topic, you kind of get a little frustrated. You say, that's not the way you would do it. You're not even approaching it right. This is how you would do it. And it's not your day job. It's something else. And it's kind of you saying, I wish I was doing that. I really want the chance to show people that I would know how to do that. I would have an idea about how to do that. I would know how to start that charity. But here's how you need to run it to make it effective, because I'm more aware of how you connect with that community of people, right? You have this thing. That's a gift. That is a gift the world is waiting for. That's your thing. That's your secret sauce. And you are waiting for permission or an invitation to be quirky and weird, and to ask for time away from your employer, or renegotiate time from your family, or ask your family to support you in this huge endeavor. And you're just kind of waiting for the world to say, now's that open door. And there isn't going to be a perfect time or an open door. You're going to have to start doing the pile driving and pushing to say, I actually want to make this real. Now I need to negotiate with the world around me in terms of making that choice and saying yes to that. And in order to make room, you say no to other things. You have to renegotiate all these assumptions about your time and who wants your time. And so that's what we work on in kindedge.com, is to make this thing real. But in the very, very beginning, you won't even bother doing it if you don't ask yourself, am I giving credence? Am I respecting the fact that I don't believe this is all there is in my life? I don't believe I'm ready to die tomorrow. I kind of thought someday I was going to get to do this thing that I've always thought was going to be part of me, a thing that I wanted to build, a thing I wanted to try. And I kind of know it's there if I sit down and talk to the little 7-year-old me that had an eternal engine running inside of ideas about that thing, that type of thing. And now that I'm a grown-up, I feel like that's put away in a little box that I don't even take out anymore. And you have the opportunity to say, hey, 7-year-old, I'm going to respect that, because while I do all the responsible things in my current life, I'm also doing something that could be done by someone else. I'm making money. I'm paying a mortgage. I'm running errands in a way that 8 billion other people do. I'm a carbon copy. But I know there's a unique, bespoke, secret sauce part of me that I need to do before I die, because that's the one part of me that would be interesting to tell at my funeral, interesting for me to leave behind for others, valuable for me to give to others, a gift I could give that would influence others. That's legacy. That's very different from paying the mortgage like everybody else does, getting the master's degree like everybody else does, going to the barbecue like everybody else does. That's a participation in life. That is wonderful to participate in life. But if you have an itch and you have a craving, now is the time, because later might not be real. And now is the time to start doing it awkwardly, because with every week and month, you get better and better at it. And you will start to get momentum, but you won't get momentum when it's sitting back here, because you need to bring it out and get it connected with other people, places, and things where it could live and breathe and be tried and fail and tried and failed, but you get a little momentum and learning, right? When you bounce balls off the real world, they bounce back and ricochet, but you learn. Then you get the information that you need to go to the next step and the next step and the next step. So what you can do today is take this action, blank piece of paper, lots of colors, notes, anything you can to get tactile. Make a list of these things, describe it, and then go to a store, a place, a website, a discussion where people are working on that type of thing, and start to make it real. Start to say, is this what my gut has been saying? Have I been ignoring my gut? Have I treated my gut as a little child that doesn't really matter in comparison to doing my big job, my big lawyer job, my big marketing job, my big whatever engineering job? Is there a conflict there? Is there something you're ignoring? So ask yourself, sit down, give it credence. So that's what I ask you. If you've got this feeling of, is this all there is? Sit down and give credence and respect to something and say, this actually would make me so freaking jazzed to do that I would renegotiate time with my employer. I would renegotiate money assumptions with my household. I would possibly move to a smaller house to loosen up time and money. I would change my commitments to my community, and I would start to look like the crazy pants person having some sort of young or midlife or older life crisis where you're like, I've decided to do this, If you're 85 and you want to be an actor, go for it. Do it. Why not be the 85-year-old that becomes an actor? Why not be the 25-year-old who's studied one career, who goes hard on some personal passion project? Why not be the 40-year-old who says, hey kids, mom's gonna start doing this unique, funky thing, and you're going to see mom doing this new thing, and she's going to look like a nerd, and then she's going to get better, and we'll see if it works, and it's just an experiment, and let's try it out. And then your kids see you being brave, doing something new that you're uncomfortable with, like a first day of school that they do every year. So that's what I would say is, if you're asking yourself, is this all there is? I would say that's your gut talking to you, and you need to go talk to your 7-year-old you, and then you need to give it credence, time, energy, negotiation, research. Go get out there in the world where you're experiencing things in a tactile way and build that idea from there. And then when you get that thing, that thing, and you give it legitimate credence and respect, come over to kindedge.com. We get you started on step 1, and you can get started today if you want to. And you start to make the project real, and you will unlock the alternate ending to your life. So I hope you will join me on this kindedge.com journey. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun. Peace.